Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Look, we had a rough day yesterday with our bets. Obviously, we had the Warriors -2.5 and the Warriors on the money line. Tough night, tough night. But, we're just going to get right into our picks for today. We have a loaded slate for the NBA. I'll start over with mine. And here we go. I do like my three picks tonight. Uh, Not really taking any teams on the money lines or spreads or totals. Not really confident in anything else. It's the first game for a lot of for pretty much everyone, obviously. And I want to, maybe just sprinkle what I like. But one of my confident plays of the night is the Celtics -3.5. I do like the Celtics tonight. I do think that they get the job done on the road. I think they win by 5, even though they're playing obviously at Madison Square Garden. I just think that this Celtics team is just 5 points better in terms of everything they have. They got Drew Holiday in that trade in the offseason with Portland. They also got Kristaps Porzingis obviously in that trade that sent Marcus Smart to Memphis. And I feel like they just pretty much improved at that point guard position. They subbed out Marcus Smart, and that was someone who they've who they did not want to let go of just because of how he's been so personally connected to that organization for years and all of that, whatever. But, it's just a business, and, they had to move on, and they brought in someone who I definitely would argue is one of the more talented guys in terms of defensively in the league, and that's Drew Holiday. I think he is definitely going to be making a presence tonight. They obviously brought in Kristaps Porzingis. They still have Al Horford. They still have Derek White. Obviously, they still have the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's pretty much the backcourt that everyone looks to in terms of two shooters who can really get you in games and pretty much take over the game. So I do like the Celtics -3.5 tonight. I just think that they win this game pretty easily. I think that when you look at the other side, the Knicks, they definitely do have some stars on that team, and even with all that, I just think that the Celtics team is just better, and that the Celtics are a contender. I think they're going to make their name, not make their name known, but make their statement heard tonight in the first game of the season, going to Madison Square Garden. Obviously, a very hostile environment. We know the rivalry between Boston and New York, so it's not going to be an easy one. And I remember, this has always been the opening night game on the Wednesday slate for the opening part of the season. Seeing the Celtics and Knicks always kind of duke it out to start the season in Madison Square Garden. Bright lights, all the fun stuff, new teams, new players. I do like the Celtics to cover tonight. I just think they are the better team. And then obviously the next one, I know it's a shock because you guys know my hate for Jordan Poole, but I do like him over 25.5 tonight. Even with or without Kyle Kuzma, that's kind of been the big question. Whether what his health status is, and the last I saw, I believe he was trending toward playing, but I don't know. Anything could happen at the last second, and it looks like even if he does play, then I do like Jordan Poole to go over that line as well. I just think he's going to be the main guy shooting the ball, especially from three, because they don't really have that many shooters. They obviously got rid of Bradley Beal, who was their main guy, and they said that they're going to start this whole rebuild, and they're starting it now. And Jordan Poole, along with Kyle Kuzma, appear to be the main focus, and it's kind of that kind of duo in the backcourt. I feel like they can definitely combine for some points tonight against the Indiana Pacers. I do like Jordan Poole to go over that line in his Washington debut. I think he, even though he's had a big up and down preseason, I feel like 25.5 is a great line for him. I think he exceeds that. Whether it's from him hitting his threes and seeing some girl in the front row that he wants or whatever. I do think 25.5 is a great line for Poole, and I would play up to that line. I wouldn't play it anything more just because the lines do tend to be very, very sharp in the NBA in terms of player props. So 25.5 is a good line, and I'll take it there. And then finally, making his debut in the NBA, not Victor Wembanyama, people, I know, Chet Holmgren, the other guy. I like him tonight against the Bulls on the road. I like him over 13.5 points. He's been another guy this preseason that has been making a statement, not really known, but at the same time, a lot of people remember him because they're like, oh yeah, I remember him, but he never played. That's the thing. And so, when we did see him, emerging out of Minnesota through high school with, Jalen Suggs and how that story became a thing. And, then obviously teaming up to play at Gonzaga and how, they had that national title run. And then the year after, Chet Holmgren transfers there. And, they have that year where they were the number one team, and Chet Holmgren gets drafted, and everyone kind of forgets about him, and then obviously everyone's talking about Victor Wembanyama. It kind of clouds over the fact that, hey, Chet Holmgren is still a rookie too. So and he's been covering that line throughout the preseason as well, and I like him to cover it as well. I think he's going to get a lot more involved in the offense as well as being a blocker, and that's kind of the reason why they took him so high, to be a blocker inside, with his defensive ability, his lengthy size, to be able to protect the rim. I do think on the offense side of the ball, though, he is a very good scorer. We've seen him put up points as well, inside, kind of feeding the offense through him. And that kind of relieves pressure off of SGA, not being that lead scorer that he needed to be last year, because he was the main focal point of that offense. So now that this allows for a different change of pace, I do like this over for Chet Holmgren tonight to be kind of get him more involved in the offense in his first game in the NBA. So these are my three best bets tonight. We're going to go with the Celtics -3.5, Jordan Poole over 25.5 points, and then Chet Holmgren over 13.5 points as well. I'd play that up to 14.5. If it does go up to 14.5, I'd play it up to there as well. Ari, after a rough day yesterday, where are you leaning to? What are your three best bets heading into the real opening night of the NBA?
Yeah, so I'm starting off with the Kings heading to Utah. The Kings are a 1.5 point favorite, and usually when the spread's that close, I just usually more so trying to play it safe, with the money line. Of course, the Kings, they burst onto the scene last year, made it to the second round of the playoffs, and they bring back a lot of the same core. Utah was in the playing conversation as well for a lot of last year before they kind of fell off towards the last month and a half of the year. They bring back a lot of the same players. They also traded for John Collins, so I'm interested to see how he fits in, alongside Walker Kessler in that front court. And then, of course, you have Markkanen as well, who was, I think he's the most improved player, if I remember correctly, last year. I think it will be. I think the spread is close to reason. I think it will be a fun game, close game. But I think, De'Aaron Fox, one of the most clutch players in the league. I think I think between him and Sabonis, I think the Kings do prevail in the end, and win straight up here. And I'm going. My other two plays here are kind of conflicting, but they can still both hit. Mavericks, probably the most disappointing team last year after trading for Kyrie and still missing the playoffs last year. I think that they, make a statement in this game. Obviously, the Spurs are the hype, with Wembanyama, and for good reason. I think the Spurs will be, of course, they will be better. They'll be more fun, more competitive. I think Wembanyama does shine in his debut. The Mavericks really don't have anyone in the front court to really contest at all. I think what we're going to see a lot of teams try to do is be kind of physical and kind of bump Wembanyama and try to make him uncomfortable. I think that's going to be the best way to kind of try to limit him. But the Mavericks really have nobody in the front court to really do that. So I think Wembanyama kind of hits this 23.5 points plus rebounds for the Mavericks, led by Kyrie and Luka, still, win by 5 to 10 plus here in this opening game. So I like the Kings to win over Utah on the money line. Mavericks cover -4 against San Antonio. But despite that, Wembanyama still, is still going to get his touches, his points and rebounds, I think. And I think we could easily see 25 to 30 plus combined from him, in this opening game or debut for him.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a 6-0 card right there. Let's go. We'll do a quick recap of it for you on the screen right now. We'll go to mine first. And first, Celtics -3.5. That line has been moving. I think it went up to 4, and then maybe it went down a little bit, but I don't know what they're currently at. But I got it at 3.5, and I love it at that number. And then Jordan Poole over 25.5 points. Like I said, I played up to that number. I wouldn't play it above it. It's a little bit, the NBA lines are very, very sharp. So, as soon as you see it, you just got to pounce on it. So I like Jordan Poole over 25.5. And then Chet Holmgren, I also like his over 13.5 points. And then obviously Ari's best bets over there on the other screen. We have the Kings on the money line, getting the job done, winning in Utah. He likes the Mavericks -4. I also like that as well. Just getting the job done on the road. Pretty much having a bounce back after last week, just embarrassment. And then finally, Victor Wembanyama, the big name everyone's talking about, bursting onto the scene, over 23.5 points and rebounds. I do like that as well. I think that's a 6-0 card, Ari. I don't know about you, but we will be recapping all of these tomorrow with some of our best bets for the 2 games from the NBA tomorrow. The Bucks make their debut with Dame and Giannis, and then obviously we have Thursday night as well for Thursday Night Football between the Bills and the Bucks. We will have our best bets for those games and recap tonight's NBA opening night. Thank you guys for tuning in real quick. This has been AKP Sports Talk. That's Ari. I'm Korea. We will see you guys tomorrow for our best bets of the NBA and the NFL Thursday night game. Peace out, guys.